Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Love Our Life. Today we're doing something completely different, and we are going to answer some questions that we've been getting like over and over. Why Universal is better than Disney. Now we know this is controversial, but we have a love for both parks, and we're going to share with you in this first video why we think Universal is a better theme park. So come on and join us. So these are in no particular order. So we're going to start with number 5. Number 5, no park reservations for Universal. Simply to put it, you get to go whenever you want to go. You don't have to put a park reservation in. You don't have to plan days ahead. You can actually just wake up in the morning and say, you know what, let's go to Universal today. It's that easy and that simple. And I feel like eventually that may come back to Disney, but right now it's not. So that's kind of be one of our like little side notes. If you're watching this video like 2 or 3 years from now and that doesn't exist anymore, I apologize. But at this time, there is a Universal does not require a reservation to come into the park, and I think that is a huge bonus if you're trying to decide where you want to go for your vacation.
Number 4 on our list is the Express Pass is better at Universal. And for me personally, I think that Universal handles that system better because for us, we're the top tier pass holder, and so we get the Express Pass after 4, and so you can get through the lines a lot faster, where, you know, Disney does a paid system, and then you're not guaranteed to get on the rides that you want to use the pass on. So.
Now, a standard Express Pass at Universal is definitely more expensive than Genie Plus over at Disney. We understand that. But I feel like the system of it is way better at Universal.
Yeah.
Genie Plus, we're probably going to do a video, more expensive video on that very soon. But if you go into the park and you try to do your Genie Plus and you try to get on a certain ride, you may not be able to use that lightning lane until 7 o'clock at night. So with Universal's Express Pass, you pay the fee, you walk in, and you walk through the Express.
Cool. And you are always guaranteed at Universal to be able to use that Express Pass on those rides that you want to use it on.
Yes, except go ahead.
Velocicoaster and Hagrid's, I think, is that it?
Yes, which they do need to change that, and hopefully they will change that soon. I believe that the rides have been open long enough now to where they can do that.
At least Hagrid's has been open long enough.
But I do agree with her. Express Pass is way better at Universal. Number 3, the parking is way better at Universal. Let me explain. Universal has a parking garage. It's 2 parking garages, one side on one side on the other. And it's very close to the security hub, and it's very close to the park. Now, a lot of people, you know, may not prefer Universal's way of parking, but we prefer it because we feel like it's a much easier system. They do flag you down sometimes in the morning, like to show you where to go, but most of the time when you go in there, they just say, hey, go down this row, and you can park wherever you want to. Versus Disney, where there have been many times that I have been close to the front, and they stop me and say, no, go that way. And they make me go down to the back of the parking lot. It always happens at Hollywood Studios for some reason. I don't know why, but it always happens there. But I just feel that their system is better. I feel like the parking garage is just better. It's cooler, for one thing. Definitely a lot cooler in there. And it's close to everything. So, and that way it's much easier just getting from the parking garage into the parks. It's just easy.
Well, and then I know it's a lazy thing to say, but even in the actual parking garages, they have the moving walkways. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that because I want to save my legs and my feet. I have problems with my feet. So I want to save my feet for when I'm actually in the park and like walking around and stuff. So it's nice because you get to use those moving walkways. And it saves.
And at the end of the day, it saves you too. Especially we don't spend like all day times, I guess, at the park much anymore, unless it's a special event like holiday celebration, Mardi Gras, stuff like that. We'll be there all day pretty much. But let me tell you, the times that we have been there all day, there ain't nothing better than that moving walkway. And we've become people that actually walk on the moving walkway. We used to be those that stand on it. And let me be clear here, people. That's why the moving walkway is there. If you want to stand, you can stand. If you want to walk on it, you can walk. And it clearly has a sign at Universal that says if you stand on the right, or if you stand on the right, and walk on the left.
And we are also those people that make sure when we're standing that we're all the way to the right.
To the right.
Where some people take up the whole walkway and then the people that want to walk can't get through.
I tend to, when I go, walk in all the way. I don't stop going into the park. When I come back, I get to the first moving walkway and I just stand there for 30 seconds and then I start walking. Because I'm like a person, I always have to be doing something. So for me to just stand there. In my heavier days though, like I would ride that whole thing all the way. And one day I tested it and it literally takes 3 minutes from that long one right before you get into security if you just stood there. So you're cutting out 3 minutes time if you walk.
And then number 2 is we personally feel like Universal has better thrill rides. There's a couple of thrill rides that I really enjoy at Disney, but for the most part, if you're a thrill ride person, you're probably going to enjoy Universal better.
Yes, I do agree with you on that. We've spent a lot of time at Universal riding a lot of rides at Universal. When we go to Disney, we do ride some stuff, but we usually just kind of take it in,
Yeah.
And I think that's something we'll discuss in that video. But I do feel like even if you don't like roller coasters, their 3D motion rides are way more energetic, way more thrill, have more of a thrill factor, I should say. Even from Transformers, even Fast and Furious. I mean, no one really likes that ride, but I mean, even that at least has the aspect of a thrill ride. Where Disney does have some of those. They do. I mean, you look at Expedition Everest, you look at Pandora, what's that ride? Flight of Passage, and then you look at rides like Space Mountain. They have stuff like that. And I'd be amiss if I didn't mention Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But they have things that are more thrilling, but Universal has it throughout the whole park.
Well, because if you're a thrill ride person, you might not benefit from that going to Disney because, like, Disney has the 4 parks, so, like, each park only has, like, 1 to 2, real, like, thrill rides.
Yeah.
So, but I personally, I'm a person that loves, like, the slow-moving rides, and I just enjoy, like, the theming of the Disney rides and stuff. Like, It's a Small World is my all-time favorite ride, so...
Yeah, and Universal does have slower stuff like that. It has Cat in the Hat. It has E.T., which E.T.'s really nothing, except you should have asked my mom when she was still here. She thought we were 10,000 feet in the air, when you're really not. But, they do have those rides that are really not thrill rides. They're just sitting back. Even the trolley car, I always forget the name of it, but in Seuss Landing. That's just kind of a thrill ride. Not a thrill ride, but just kind of a sit-down ride and chill. But it is fun. They have, just to me, when I'm looking forward to, man, I want a big thrill ride, it's always Universal for me.
Well, and Universal covers, I feel like, a lot of, like, children and adults. Where, like, I think people, like I said, that are more into thrill rides, when they go to Disney, they're like, dang, I feel like I'm in a kid's park, or, And
I will say, though, that I feel like Rise of the Resistance is still the best ride in Orlando. That's not at Universal, by the way. And number one, the moment you've all been waiting for, even though they're not in any particular order, is annual passes. The annual pass system at Universal is just leaps and bounds above Disney. The pricing is way better. The no reservations is way better. The blockout dates, I think, are way better. And they have 4 tiers. And I'm not going to get into all that. I'm actually going to link a video up here and down below for you to watch where we talk about the annual pass system at Universal and the prices and the price difference between Universal and Disney. But if, off the top of my head, I think it's like $596 for the top tier pass at Universal, and at Disney it's $1,200 a person. So just letting you know that's a huge difference. I do feel like Universal treats their pass holders better. There are more benefits to being a pass holder at Universal, even though they took away the buttons and magnets. They need to bring that back. But I do feel like there's just some things that Universal just does better. You do get a free Halloween Horror Nights ticket if you are on the top tier. Just things like that. They just treat you better, I feel
And
like.
they have like, what is that, like a week or a couple weeks where they honor the pass holders at Universal?
Yeah, pass holder week. It's usually in the end of August, September, somewhere around there that they do that. And that's another big difference between Universal and Disney, is that Disney blocks out, even if you have the top tier, there are certain times that they don't allow for pass holders to have reservations. Like this week, I was able to get 2 reservations this week, but last week I couldn't. We got 1, and that was on Friday. And our previous video that you guys saw at Hollywood Studios, that was the last reservation we were able to get.
But you also had to be on it and like constantly be looking, and, and then one came available.
And so I feel like an example of that is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is about to open at Disney on May 27th. The opening day for that, pass holders are blocked out of that right now. Now, I was able to get a reservation, and let me clarify what I mean, is that they only opened up a certain amount of reservations for pass holders to get into the park. If you bought a regular ticket, you could get in. But that's where Universal is better. Universal will not do that to you. When Velocicoaster opened, everybody could go in because there was no reservation system. When Hagrid's opened, everybody could go in. During Mardi Gras, stuff like that. Now, if you don't have a certain tier on Mardi Gras, you can't go to the concerts, but you can still go to islands. You can still go to a park itself. But, you know, I just think that is where Universal is, to me, at the end of the day, I think that is truly the number one reason Universal is better, is the annual pass system. And, you know, of course, just off the top little things here and there, they have Harry Potter, they have everything else, you know, and I just feel like Universal does that better. And Universal is capitalizing on that right now, and they should. And with that, that is our top 5 reasons that we feel that Universal is better than Disney. So make sure you share this with your family, your friends, whoever's thinking about going to Universal, and maybe this will help them to decide whether they want to go to Universal, whether they want to go to Disney, or whatever. Closing thoughts. I think I've covered everything. I don't think there's anything else, unless you have something you want to talk about. But while you're watching this video, don't worry. Don't get too mad at me yet. Leave a comment down below if you agree with some of these points, if you disagree with some of these points. But why I'm saying don't get mad at me is because right after this, look down right below. There's a video attached to it that says why Disney is better than Universal. We got you Disney peeps covered because we're Disney peeps too. And we're Universal peeps. We're both. We're in the middle. We don't care. We don't play that game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button and the notification bell so you know when our next video is coming out. If you're watching this premiere, get ready because in 15 minutes the next video comes out. And remember, the road goes ever on. And what is it? Oh, yeah. We'll see you next time.